So I was typing during the time I was waiting for students, other students to come. Now everybody, almost everybody are in the class, and now we can continue. Meantime, I was writing something on the board, so we save time. You see, this is the احسان says بعضی از دانشجوها جلسه ورود تا جلسه دوم. Yes, they should enter even if they click online class. Ehsan, they can enter because I already ended the previous class, so they cannot stay in that class. They already been disconnected. They will join us, okay? I will review, inshallah they will join us, okay? So we have two types of keys. We have two type of keys, مفتاح المتماثل, okay, and مفتاح غیر متماثل, okay. We have two type of keys. We already discussed these two. I already taught you these two keys, but here we use these keys, okay. The symmetric keys are suitable for one-time use only, مرتبه واحد فقط, and they are suitable for one-to-one communication. So for example, if we have A and B and they can communicate with each other in one session, okay, for example, transfer money in one session, or we call it transaction. For one transaction, okay, we can use shared key, or one key which is same for the sender and receiver. But the problem for the shared key is that how we share the key between them, because it's one time use. We supposed to have many keys. We need generation and distribute the key, because Ali, if you share a key, one key, because this is one key, if you share one key with everybody, this is not a secret, okay. Consider that you have a Windows, I have a Windows, attacker also has the Windows, so everybody have the Windows, and for all of the Windows the key is 1 2 3. Does it work? Did you get what's the problem? No, the nonce is almost the same as the key here, okay. When something is shared between many, it is not a secret, okay. The nonce is the one-time use key itself. Here in this in the transactions, the nonce is the one-time use key itself. Even though the nonce, still you should know the method for sharing the nonce, okay. So for example, when you want to use the nonce, well, how you know that what is the generation method? So if everybody knows that, so that's the problem, so we cannot use it. Anyhow, so how to share the key between A and B, and then we go to the asymmetric keys, غیر متماثل, مفتاح غیر متماثل, okay. This is the key many to many keys, okay, something that everybody can use, because everybody has its own key, and it's not necessary for me to share the key with more than one person. But the problem is the problem again with the asymmetric key is that when we get one's public key, from where we know that this is the someone public key. And now for these two problems, we talk about, or we introduce two new concepts: KDC, Key Distribution Center, and Certificate Authority, which we call it CA. So you see, we say for each, okay, for each entity like A, okay, for each entity like A, there are a key pairs. It's better to say like this: public and private. A dot private is only for A and nobody else has it. A dot public A dot private is for A, and A dot public, everybody has it. So we want to have a communication with A. If we want to have a communication with A, the first step is to get the A's public key, okay? But the problem is that how we know the problem is here. How to give the one's public key to the receiver. How we know that this is really A's public key. So we go to the concept of key distribution center. Key distribution center, or KDC, is a center that everybody knows and know it, and everybody can trust on KDC. Or we can say at least we know one KDC on the network. At least we know one KDC on the network. So everybody, make sure that you understand the concept of the public and private key here. You see, so for a symmetric key, the many-to-many possible, because everybody has its own key. It has private with itself and it has public for everybody to has it. So for example, I will go to the new board. I will explain it on the new board. You see, for example, when you have Android, for example, you know Google as KDC. Okay, so when you have Windows, you know Microsoft as KDC, and when you use Firefox, you know Mozilla as KDC. Okay, and so far and so on and so forth. Okay, it's like this. So when you have Android on your as operating system on your smartphone, for example, you can say that Google is my KDC, or when you have Windows, you know Microsoft as KDC, and when you have Firefox, you have Mozilla. So like this, at least your system, at least knows one KDC or CA. Okay. Son, okay, what was 47, 46? Okay, this is 46. Muhammad, we have nothing to do with Yahoo, only Google, because of the Android, because of the either operating system, okay, it's because of the operating system or because of the browser, okay, not Yahoo, because of the operating system or because of the browser. So when you have Android, you know Google as KDC. When you have, these are example Windows, you know Microsoft as a KDC, and when you have Firefox, you know Mozilla as KDC. So your system at least knows one KDC. Then I will draw the KDC here. For example, this is the KDC, we add that, and this is B. Okay, so B for sure B has KDC's public key. Okay, for sure B has KDC public key embedded in their software or in its software. Okay, this is very important. Okay, B knows KDC public key, and also for A we can say the same thing. What is it? Is that yes, exactly. For sure A has same thing. A has public key for the KDC. Now how they can communicate? The way that they want to communicate, because it's between A and B, it's one-to-one. Okay, and if they want to have a session, okay, what happens when B requests? And what is the problem? You see, well, the problem is that we want to know the esala of B, we want to know the esala of A, we want to share the same key between them to do the transaction and then throw it away, and we want to make sure that everything that is sent between them is secure. So something that happens, it starts from B. B will ask A that I want to communicate with you, and A will ask KDC, okay, this is, for example, it says this is B and I want to communicate with you, and it says this is A and B wants to communicate with me. Okay, this is A and B wants to communicate with me. KDC will generate a string. Okay, this string is very important, and send it to A. KDC will generate a string and send it to A. Okay, what is in the string the KDC will use, because KDC has all the keys for everybody. So it's the key A dot public key and then inside that it's shared key, and then it's b dot public key. Inside that it's it says that on the other side is A, and then it's shared key. You see, this is the string which is generated by KDC to be sent to A. So this one will be generated by KDC, and then it will goes to A. See that the first part of the string has been encrypted with A dot public key. So what we need to open this part of the string? You tell me what we can use to open this part. Private A dot private key. Yes, thank you, Rasha. So you see, to decrypt this part, you need A dot private key. Okay, to open this one, you need A dot private key. And who has the A dot private key? Who has it? Only A. Yes, exactly. Only A has it. So when A opens it, what is inside? What can we see inside? You see, the first thing, A will receive the shared key. So it will get the shared key. A will extract the shared key from here, and now on the A side we have shared key. Okay, the rest of the string, this part, the rest of the string, this part, A cannot read because it's been encrypted with B dot public key. So A cannot understand what is in this part of the string, and just it will directly send this one to B, this part. So what do we need to open this part? B dot, exactly, private key. So we use B dot private key to open this part. What is inside that comes to B? I will write it here. Okay, what is come out of the string that came from KDC? It's first shared key. You see, both sides A and B, they both have shared key. And also this is very important, the message from KDC, it says the other party is A. Yasser, not B dot public key. Yes, exactly, Ali. Yes, it's a message from KDC. Okay, it's a message from sorry, it's a message from KDC, and that the message says the other part the message from KDC, the other person is A. Okay, it's a message from KDC that says the other person is K. So you see what we have here for A. Okay, for A we have shared key, and for sure we know the other party is B, because if it's not B, you couldn't open the message on the B side. So for B, you know the other party is A, and also it has shared key. So after this, they use shared key A and B. Okay, after this A and B, they will use shared key to transfer the information encrypted with shared key for one session. They use shared key for one session, and after they finished or they are done, they just threw away a shared key. If they want to do it again they will come and ask KDC to generate a new, with the same procedure. They will ask KDC to generate a new shared key. Again, they transfer the information using the shared key, and then they will throw it away, and it will go like this for ever, for all of the two entities on the internet that they want to have communication and transfer information. The process of transaction, when it will happen during generate nonce. Ali, you know, anytime that you need the key, you start this transaction. You use the key and then you throw it away. For example, you are on Bank Milli, okay, and you have a hesab in Bank Millat, okay. You want to use ATM to transfer, but a Milli ATM to transfer money from, for example, Millat to Sepah, okay. When you want to do that, you will go to KDC, you get the key, you transfer the money, and then you finish the everything, you finish the transaction, okay. For each transaction, whenever you need it, you start asking KDC for the keys. So I will go back to the previous slides. You see, this was the first problem, something that we discussed here. Yes, after having the key, they start the transaction, exactly. Not all the private key, not all the private keys. It is an organization that has or generate all public keys. Yes, something that you said, it's correct, Ali, but it's about public keys. Nobody has anybody else's private key. Private key is only for the person, but KDC has all the public keys. Yes, it's correct. Okay. No Mustafa, but we will discuss it later. Okay, the scalability of KDC, it's a good question, but we will discuss it later. Now we assume that we have only one KDC. Okay, so the first problem was how to share the key between A and B, and we discussed it. Okay, we discussed this problem, so this problem does not exist anymore. The second problem when we want to use asymmetric keys is that how we know that this is the someone's public key when we receive it. You see, for example, the transaction is like that. That one was for transactions between two organizations or two corporations or two entities. This is from one person to another person. We can use that one for B2B. Okay, we can say that for B2B. And now we want to talk about B2C, business to customer. Okay, I will go to the slide and I explained this one, the second one, this one. Now I want to discuss this one. You see, consider that this is Google, okay, and this is you. And when you want to transfer information to the Google, you can use Google.public key. Oh, it's okay to use Google.public key, but there is a possibility, for example, if this is attacker, okay, attacker so has attacker dot public and attacker dot private. Okay, for Google also is Google dot public and it's Google dot private. So the problem is that when you go to the internet, for example, you go to this website, okay, and you say, okay, hello, are you Google? Okay, and it says hello, yes, I am Google. Okay, the next thing that you should do to have a secure communication is to get the Google.public. So the next thing you will ask is that, let me take this one up. Okay, give me your public key. Okay, you will tell the attacker, okay, give me your public key. The attacker will change the name attacker to .public and rename it to Google.public. It will rename it to Google.public and then send it to you. Okay, this is really attacker dot public. Okay, so this is attacker dot public. Now when you communicate from now on, okay, when you communicate with attacker, for example, you communicate with attacker and you say, I'm sure you are Google. Okay, and when you communicate with Google, you say you are not Google. It's like that. That's the problem. You already have his public key. So no, Ali, consider that we don't have. This is the problem. How we get the key? Okay, we consider we don't have. We go back to the certificate, and now we want to talk about the certificate authority. Even if it's not Google, for example, if another site, for example, if it's Imam Reza University site, okay, and for example, not Google. Imam Reza University. Okay, to communicate with Imam Reza University, you need to have Imam Reza's University public key. So from where you make sure that it is really Imam Reza's public university. Here again we have the solution. You see, here again we have the solution. The solution is again KDC and certificate authority. Okay, so instead of using all of this communication, I will delete all of these communications. You see, and I will start again. Okay, not attacker. I need attackers. Okay. Okay, it's you again, and it's Google. And it's attacker. Something that happens is that here we want to talk about certificate. Okay, something that happens is that Google will go to KDC. Okay, and we'll take, for example, I don't know, it's what is شناسنامه in Arabic? بطاقه, I think. Yes, اثبات هویه. Yes, exactly, بطاقه. Okay, or اثبات هویه. Google will go to KDC and provide everything like بطاقه or identification card or کارت ملی شناسنامه, everything, whatever you can think of, and says, okay, this is me, this is Google, and this is Google.public. Okay, and then KDC will review the documentation and everything. After it makes sure that this is Google, it will put it in the box and encrypt it with KDC.private, and inside this box it will write, this is Google. I know this is Google. Okay, and this is Google.public. It will encrypt it with KDC.private and then give it back to Google. It give it back to Google as, we call this one Google's certificate. Okay, now you see, if the same thing happens to the attacker, it goes to KDC. Okay, it goes to KDC and it will prove the authenticity of whatever it is or something like that, and it will give the same thing. Okay, so it's again the same box, another box encrypted in it, and it says, okay, this is, for example, attacker, whatever the name is, and this is attacker.public, and it has been encrypted with KDC.private. It has been encrypted with KDC.private. So for you as an entity on the internet, if you remember, you only knew and had KDC's public key embedded in your operating system or browser. Okay, So you only have one key, and this is for your own KDC. You only have one key which is embedded in your operating system and browser, and that is KDC, your KDC dot public. Okay, your KDC dot public. So again, we review the scenario. You see what happens here when you go to Google. Okay, you ask, hello, are you Google? Okay, and then Google will reply yes, and this is my certificate. Google will say yes, I am Google and this is my certificate. You see, something that Google will give you is this one. It takes all of them. Okay, never mind, I will take one by one. Let me remove this one. Now I can move it. Okay, so this is Google's certificate, and then it will give the Google certificate to you. So what do you need to open this one? Because it's encrypted. What do you need to open this box? It has been encrypted with kdc.private. What do you need to open it? To open this box? Yeah, exactly. kdc.public. And you only have kdc public. So you apply kdc.public. You apply kdc.public. And then inside the box it says this is Google and this is Google's public key, and you get Google's public key out of the box. You get that. Now you can have Google's public key, which is original and nobody can forge it. So when you have Google public key, from now on you use Google public key to send the information to Google, and Google will use google.private to send the information to you. The information from one site is encrypted, from another side you know that it has authentication or it has SSL. So we call this one, we call this a structure, this one and this one certificate. So my example was not a good example because I used the Google itself. Google itself is it's a KDC. But still, if you consider that Google is not a KDC, the example is valid. If you have any question about this one, you can ask. Then we will go to the next and the last part of the KDC and certificate problems, which is scalability. If you have any problem regarding this one, you can ask. So nobody can use someone else's public key, or they cannot forge the public keys using the KDC. Okay. So the last part is that one KDC or CA for the whole world. Okay, we say not possible, not scalable. One KDC or one CA certificate authority for the whole world it's not possible and not scalable. Scalable in Arabic is قابلة للتطوير. This one. قابلة للتطوير. Okay, not possible, not scalable. So we say that it is hierarchy. So al-tasalsul harami. So the solution is al-tasalsul harami, or we say it's hierarchy. There should be many KDCs, okay, many KDCs on the internet, and they can just provide the information for knowing the other KDCs. For example, if you use Android, you know Google, but for example you don't know, I don't know what example I use. For example, you don't know Bank Markazi in Iran, okay, or you don't know, for example, .ir, and you don't know for example Snap in Iran, okay. Microsoft also can use. No, I wanted to use something which is not the root KDC like Google and something like that. So it's again, I will put you here, okay. I will put you here. Here I put one Iranian bank Melli, okay, and this is Bank Markazi, okay, and this is .ir organization, okay, and this is Google, okay. Consider you have Android phone, okay. When you have Android phone, you only have Google.public, okay. You only have, when you have Android, for example, when you have Microsoft or you use Edge, you have Microsoft public. When you have Android phone, you only have Google.public. So here you have Google.public. That's the only thing you have, okay. You have only Google.public. So you go to Bank Melli in Iran, for example. You go to one of the banks in Iran and say, okay, are you really Bank Melli? Are you, for example, really Bank Melli? And Bank Melli says yes. What should it send to you? Public key of whom? Exactly, it's certificate. It's bankemelli.public, which has been signed with the problem is here, okay. It is bankemelli.public, which has been signed with Bank Markazi no, not Google private. It has been signed with, or certificate of Bank Melli is from Bank Markazi, but you don't have Bank Markazi public, okay. So when you see this one, you see that it's Bank Melli certificate, it's from Bank Markazi. Again, you will go to Bank Markazi and says, okay, if you are Bank Markazi, are you Bank Markazi? Send me your certificate, okay. it will send its certificate, which is بانک مرکزی dot public which has been signed with what? Private of, no, not private of بانک مرکزی, private of .ir organization. Okay, but your Android phone does not understand what is .ir or who is .ir organization. Again, it has to go to .ir organization and you ask, are you .ir organization? Again, it will send you, for example, .ir organization .public which has been signed or has been encrypted with Google.private. You see, this is the last process. When you receive Google.private, you can open Google.private. Okay, you open this one, and when you get the public of .ir, okay, you can open this one. And when you get بانک مرکزی .public, you can open on this one. And then when you open this one, you tell بانک ملی, okay, I know you are بانک ملی and we can talk encrypted. Okay, I know you are بانک ملی and we can talk encrypted. And from now on, you see now your browser now knows .ir organization. From now on, it knows بانک مرکزی as a certificate authority, and it also knows بانک ملی as a certificate authority. So it's scalable. From now on, you never go to Google, okay, or from now on you never even go to, for example, .ir organization. I use this one as an example for an authority that confirms the .ir domains. Okay, it's hierarchy. Yeah, it's hierarchy. It's we type it like this. تسلسل هرمی. Okay. For Rasha, for transferring money from one account to another account using the phone, we use the previous method. We use the entities for the KDC. But when you go on one website, okay, when you go on one website and you try to work with website when you use HTTPS, okay, when you use HTTPS, your browser first will download the site certificate. First, it downloads the site certificate, which has been signed by, for example, somebody. Okay, maybe it's signed by Certium, or maybe it's signed by DigiCert, or maybe it has been signed by Google, or maybe it has been signed by Microsoft. If your browser has the key for that KDC, it will use to decrypt the certificate and say, okay, this site is original. If the site does not have the key, it will go like this. It will go to the next level and next level to download the keys that it's needed to decrypt the files. For his main site, actually no, you see, something that you receive always is certificate. Okay, something that you receive is always a certificate. In certificate it says who am I, okay, it says who am I, who approves me, okay, who am I, who approves me, and here is my public key. And Ali, how we communicate with the bank مرکزی and we don't have its public key. It's in the certificate. It's in the certificate, Ali. In certificate of بانک ملی. It says that it has been approved by this one. For example, I will use another example. If you want to take a screenshot from this page, just take it. I will go to the new page. Yes, exactly, there is a private key. But we don't have private keys for anybody. Did you get the shot from the screen? Okay, you see, I will go to another board. For example, I say this is Dr. Kamel, okay, and this is my public key. Okay, and Imam Reza's University approve me. Okay, for example, I encrypt my public key with Imam Reza's University. If you know Imam Reza University, okay, you go and then you get the Imam Reza's University public key to decrypt this one, because it can be opened, this key can be opened only with Imam Reza's University. If you don't know, you go to Imam Reza University and ask for its certificate. For example, again you will receive a certificate from Imam Reza University. It says this is Imam Reza University, this is my public key. Okay, for example, maybe this is Imam Reza's University public key, and Google approves me. Okay, now when it says, consider that this is you, this is another example. Okay, and when you have Google.public, when you have Google.public, you apply Google.public on this one to get Imam Reza.public. Okay, and then when you get Imam Reza.public, you apply Imam Reza.public on this one to make sure that this is, for example, Dr. Kamel, and to get Dr. Kamel.public. Okay, no one's private key is shared. Okay, so again, all private keys are only for the people themselves. People keep the private key to themselves. Okay, it's like this. يحفظ الناس بالمفتاح الخاص لأنفسهم. It's okay, it's here. Okay, and share the public key using certificate. ومشاركة المفتاح العام بالاستخدام شهادة. Okay, so no one can forge someone else's public key. لذلك لا يمكن لأي شخص تزوير مفتاح العمومی شخص الآخر. Okay, it's also okay. Okay, this sentence is also okay. And also now I can say HTTPS and browsers use HTTPS and browsers use this method. If you look at the browser, you can just take a look. If you look at the browser, for example, going to Imam Reza's university, there is a lock. Okay, there's a lock there. Lock in Arabic, off. Okay, same as Farsi. There is a off nearby. For example, it has been written on line 6 imamreza.ac.ir. okay, here if you look at your browser, there is a lock there. Click on the lock, okay, and then you can get the certificate of that site. For example, it says connection is secure and then certificate is valid. You click on the certificate and I can share this certificate with you, for example. Let me share the screen. And select application window. Okay, you see, this is something that you get from the certificate. If I open chatroom, this is no, it's easy. I will tell you a song. Okay, this is the certificate that you get from the website. For example, Imam Reza's website. It says the certificate is intended for the following purposes or application policies. Okay, the website is online imamreza.ac.ir, issued by Bitdefender personal certificate, Net Defender. Okay, and it's valid from this site at this day to this date. And also the detail of the certificate algorithm, you can find it here. What is the public key and what are the public key parameters and subjects and so on and so forth. For example, what valid from when to when. Okay, subject, you can write it, for example, online university, something like that. Issuer is very important, who approves Imam Reza's university. Here is Bitdefender. Okay, and the algorithm is hash SHA-256 and signature algorithm is here, and then this is the version that they use to encrypt this one. And also something that you can see here is that what is the path for this certification. I told you, when you download one certificate, you use it until it's valid, only until, for example, what is validation date of this one is Thursday 5 July 2022. Okay, so until July 2022, any certification which has been received from Bitdefender on my browser will go under the Bitdefender and it will remain here. I don't need to download again each time each certificate for each site. It will be there and I can easily use it for the next communication until it expired. So I will click on, let me see whether you see this one. Yes, I will click on the certificate information. That again, it comes to this window. It comes from the validation, and if you click on learn more about certificates, it will open a new window here. If you click on this one, okay, it will open a new window and tell you, give you information that I already talked about it with you. Okay, and I already taught you. So let me go back to the document itself. I hope this time it's clear for you why we use or when we use symmetric keys, why and when we use asymmetric keys, and how we share symmetric key on the internet and how we share asymmetric keys or public keys. Ehsan says it is difficult to know who is unauthorized. Ehsan, authorization will automatically will happen in the browser. So when your browser, sometimes, for example, you go to one website and it blocks the website. Okay, the Google blocked the website and says there is a risk. There is a risk for continuing on HTTPS on this website. This means that this website certificate is not valid. So it's not Ehsan, it's not you that check the certificate. The browser itself, Edge or Google Chrome or Firefox, usually check the certificate for you, and if the lock is okay and then it's green, it means that you are already safe. Okay, it happens on the system. So I will quickly go through the slides to see what we discussed. So when Alice says I'm Alice, Bob can send the one nonce, and then Alice use its private key to encrypt it. Bob can use Alice's public key to decrypt it, but from where we know that this is really Alice's public key. That's why we introduced the KDC. Let me see, Ali, when we want to communicate with an entity, is it possible without having its public key? Ali, if you don't have its public key and you want to communicate, you have to switch back to HTTP. Yes, if possible, if the site supports, you have to use HTTP. Okay, but when you switch to HTTPS, it's encrypted, and for encryption you should have the site's public key. Okay, so for symmetric key we said that how two people share the same key. Here we use the KDC, that KDC knows this person and KDC knows this person with the identification and everything, and these two people know they also know KDC. Cool. Then KDC will act as a intermediate between these two, and we said that when you get, another problem was that when you get somebody's, for example Bob's public key, from where you know that it's really Bob, because you get it from website, you get it from email, you get it from a CD drive or whatever it is, you don't know whether it's real or no. Here we sign the, or use signature, امضا, we use signature to sign the someone's public key, that we call it certificate. Okay, so everybody they have their keys inside the KDC, and KDC knows everybody on the internet. And then when two people want to communicate, KDC will generate this string for them to communicate, for them to share the R1, which is at the same time it is also nonce, and at the same time it is also a shared key, one session shared key, مرة واحدة فقط. Okay, one time use only. And then for the certificate, Bob will go to KDC, it takes it بطاقه, if I'm not mistaken, identification, it takes also public key, give to KDC, KDC will apply its own private key on Bob's public key to generate the certificate. And then Bob can use certificate anywhere it wants to show that it's really Bob, because it has been encrypted with KDC private key that everybody are trusting KDC. The last thing but not least, single KDC for the whole internet, for the whole world, it's not possible. So we use multiple KDC, and we use hierarchy to for each KDC to approve another KDC, for that KDC to approve another KDC. So in this way everybody can use the certification. So cross certification of KDC, and then we can use like this, that Imam Reza approved me, Imam Reza University, and for example Ministry of Education of, for example, Iraq, yeah, approves Imam Reza, and for example Google approves Ministry of Education in Iraq. And then in this way you know that you can trust me, or you can get my key, and we can communicate through the encryption system. Okay, we use HTTPS to communicate, use the encryption system. So this was the whole thing. This chapter already finished. If you have any question, you may ask. If no, class already finished. And also about the exam. Yes, about the exam, you see something that Ali told me, what you already said. I will give you, okay, I will give you some, I will write it so it will be clear for everybody. Okay, I will give you for you some homeworks, okay, and I will put some deadline, okay, that the questions are similar to exam questions. Okay, I will give you some homeworks, and I will put a deadline for that, for you to submit, upload to the site, and the questions are similar to the exam questions. That's about the exam. Okay, oh sorry, I dropped my pen. This was 2 sessions. Okay, Ali will be in touch with me through the email. Ali, just remind me, send me one email, but please do not use Telegram, because when I see the message, I will forget. Use email. Send me one email and remind me to put your homeworks on the website. Whenever I had time, I will put the homeworks and reply you. Okay, I'll put the homeworks and students can use it. Okay? Yes, yes, Ali. As we discussed on the email, I will do that. Hossein, please type, write it in English. I cannot understand what did you type. Okay, this is the list, and okay, that's it. Thank you very much again. Your prayer will be accepted by Allah, inshallah. Iftar, iltamas dua. Please do not forget me in your duas and in your prayers in these holy months. Okay, okay. I will give you long deadline. Okay. Right now, no, Hossein. Okay, right now, no. But I will upload on the website and I will inform Ali and he will put in the group, in Telegram group. Thank you very much, Riam. Thank you. Inshallah, for all of us. Siam Qabul as well for you. Thank you, Ehsan. Okay. در پناه خدا. Take care, inshallah. It will be uploaded, Mustafa. It will be uploaded to Darsa website. Yes, Ali said that it's easy for you to get it from Darsa and upload it there. When I upload it, I will let you know. I will inform you through Ali.